Hello everyone, my name is Nieminen. I am the researcher behind this poster entitled "Can't Stress This Enough? Can Biofeedback Increase the Use of Stress Interventions?" I am a recent graduate from McEwan University, where I completed my Bachelor of Arts Honors Psychology program, and my research was supervised by Dr. Michelle Mosicki. Our research looked into post-secondary student stress coping, and barriers to such coping. We were kind of hoping that our research would encourage students to cope better with their acute stress response with either deep breathing or cognitive reappraisal kind of methods. That we would encourage students to use these methods when they are stressed out and increase the sense of control that students have over their stress reactions. We hypothesized that with the use of biofeedback, we would be able to increase the students' perception that the stress interventions such as deep breathing and cognitive reappraisal are useful in combating stress. We also hypothesized that deep breathing and cognitive reappraisal will produce similar changes in the physiological stress response, which was measured as a heart rate measure in our study. And we also hypothesized that both deep breathing and cognitive reappraisal as stress coping methods will increase participants' perception of their control over the stress reaction that they are experiencing. So to go over the methods of our study quickly, we had a two-part study, completed both parts of the study in one semester, part one earlier, part two later. In part one, our students on a completely online-based platform were divided into 5 groups, 4 experimental groups and a control group. Control group only completed baseline measures, and the 4 experimental groups then continued on to complete stress tasks, view video materials of the stress interventions, either deep breathing as a stress intervention or cognitive reappraisal as stress intervention. In order to combine biofeedback, we further divided the group into either students who were measuring their heart rate while completing stress tasks or after completing stress tasks or not. So we ended up having a 4-way factorial design. Part 2 was just a simple questionnaire that was emailed to students at a later point of the semester, and that was just to follow up on whether students had used a stress intervention that they had learned, whether their stress perception scales or stress mindset measure had changed over the semester, and whether those correlated. For the results, we did see that our first hypothesis did not follow through. So students who were measuring their heart rate before, during, and after the stress tasks, and before, during, and after learning a stress intervention did not perceive the stress intervention to be more helpful and did not use the stress intervention more throughout the semester than students who were not in the biofeedback groups. We thought this might have something to do with the fact that we were just using a home-based heart rate measure, and maybe if the students would have come into the lab and actually been seeing like a professional biofeedback measure, like a heart math, we might have been able to persuade them better. For our second hypothesis, so deep breathing and cognitive reappraisal producing similar changes in the physical stress reaction, with the heart rate, we did observe a very similar change, deep breathing having a little bit lower numbers in the change than reappraisal, but not significantly, meaning that both of these stress interventions are effective in mediating the physiological stress response. For our last hypothesis, we did observe that deep breathing group did perceive their mental stress reaction to be more under their control than any other group compared from part 1 to part 2 of the study. So maybe deep breathing does have a chance of perceiving and increasing that experience of being able to control the stress response, which was quite exciting. And thank you for listening in.